Hey tribe, welcome to another clip, and today we have a very special topic. It's about mushrooms. For all those who don't know me, my name is Cristiano Caribou. I'm based here in the woods of Austria, living the native life. I want to build not a tribal culture, and so I have an environment here which already should reflect this vision. And of course I'm using modern availabilities like an iPhone, VLAN. I have an indoor cannabis garden, nice shit like that. So today, mushrooms. I've been invited to a ritual. Two shamans from Guatemala came over. It was a cacao mushroom ritual. They really built a nice and strong frame. We met in a small circle, we lighted up a sacred fire, invited the power of the four directions. So everything very clear, and you should connect yourself or attune yourself with an intention, with a higher purpose, like finding the spiritual alignment, which I think is quite powerful. And then we took mushrooms with cacao, and boom, lots of things had happened. It was a really crazy experience. To make it short, I felt like all my personal fears and struggles and thinking patterns, they were just dropping. I was transcending from the state I've been up to the most enlightened and highest version of myself. And I realized that because my heart was opening up energetically. I was feeling love and life and gratitude really cycling like light lines through my body. I felt so connected to life and nature and people like never before. Everyone was part of me, inherently part of me. I've been watching into the fire for hours, just experiencing the miracle of life in such a profound way. I've been talking to trees and plants and the earth and feeling everything, feeling the life, the fabric of consciousness behind the form. Inside the ritual, I made a little walk through the jungle. I sat down to a dying tree, and suddenly I've been dying. I felt like my legs were falling off my body, the arms were falling and disappearing, my whole body rotten, and worms and insects going through my body. And it sounds scary, but in that state it was not. In that state, it was the cycle of life. And I was so attuned to love and giving that surrendering and dying was an act of giving. It was a service to the next generation. Because I felt like the trees and the flowers that are coming out of my body will serve the next generation of plants and animals and human beings. And the divine consciousness behind this endless cycle was me. I've been totally connected to that, so there was no problem. It was just joy and giving and reborn in 1,000 other ways again, and getting reborn in 1,000 other ways. So fantastic experience. After a few hours of joy and bliss and freedom and just glory, I slowly came back to my normal state. It was kind of sad. It was really sad, because once you know how free and powerful and loving you are when you are in your true power, in your higher self, then you feel like, oh damn it, now I'm like back. I'm back with my issues. I'm back with my fear. Why can I just live in this ecstatic way all my life? And the shamans, they described it in that way, that these mushrooms, they give you an uplift. You transcend to a very powerful state and you experience life from there, and then they bring you back. And now you need to continue with your spiritual practice to step by step walk the stairs towards that divine state. And it somehow makes sense. As well, they gave us the idea that mushrooms are not a daily experience. Like, you should consider taking them once in a while as a medicine, as something that remembers you to your true power and your true connection to reality. And this is how I feel. And comparing that, for example, with my acid trip, I now see clearly that I would always choose mushrooms before acid. Acid was intense and strong, but it's chemical. And in my experience after the trip, I had a few weeks of really crushing the bottom. My body was exhausted and tired. I need a lot of sleep and recovery. My mind was sometimes quite weird. I had really depressed thoughts and thoughts about suicide. So not really a place I enjoyed. And I really had to recover from it. But compared to the mushrooms, I did not. And on the next day and next morning, I was like fresh, I was ready, I was so inspired, I was so grateful. I striked the workout and I just continued where I started the adventure, just with a very rich experience. So when you consider taking mushrooms, I know it is scary. Like, personally, since I can think back in my childhood, I'm afraid of mushrooms. Don't know why, but I'm afraid of their poison. So it really took me a step. I had to really face my fear and to take it. But now I'm really glad I made the step and I went over that. Because the experience is so profound and so life-changing that nothing else can compare to that. No spiritual experience in deep meditation can even get close to what I experienced there. And there is no theory, there is no spiritual concept you need to hold on, because you are the divine in that moment. You're divine consciousness in that moment, and you're one with reality. You don't need to talk about that. You feel it in every part of your body. And we had a sharing as well afterwards, and everyone had a different experience. And it can be that you have to face and struggle with a certain topic to bring light and clarity there, to heal it. That as well, that's why I call it medicine, this mushrooms, because they were meant for healing and for remembering and seeing, experiencing reality from a different place than your personal disconnected ego. Yeah. So that's the story. And yeah, there are only good things about mushrooms with what I could share now. Like, I don't have any negative thing with that in mind. Of course, it can be more powerful, I think, when you find a ritual-based environment where you are guided and where the shaman, they keep the frame and protect you while you're tripping. I would prefer that. And yeah, in this sense, I hope it inspires you. I hope you find a chance to go for that. And if you have any more questions, please give me a comment. I will answer for sure. And in this sense, thanks for watching and namaste.